Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to solve some stalemate puzzles.
Hi. Yes, so today we decided to discuss some stalemate positions. It would be great if we all will practice and find not just a winning way, but sometimes the way how we can save our position, yeah, and find a draw. So let's start with the first puzzle today. So let's evaluate position first. As you can see, white has some extra material. So two extra pawns, which is not good for black, of course. And probably black would be happy to make a draw in this position. I think that we can use a stalemate idea. So stalemate means when your king is not in check, yeah, it's your move and you just don't have any legal moves. Okay, so Tara, what ideas do you have? How can try black to find a stalemate?
And stalemate is also when you have no legal moves with other pieces too.
Yeah, not just with a king, of course.
Yeah. So first, maybe we could try rook to e1.
So you want to sacrifice the rook, yeah? As I can see, the white king doesn't have any moves, so probably rook has to capture. Okay, so now it's black's turn to move. The king can't move anywhere. Yeah, so white pieces control all these squares. Yeah, the pawn controls f4. And the black pawn also doesn't have any moves. So it's a stalemate on the chessboard, right? Okay, so rook e1, rook captures c1. Yeah, let's repeat one more time. So we sacrifice the rook. Sometimes you have to think about moves like this. Yeah, for the first look, this move is bad, but if you look deeper, you see that this move saves your position, and so it's a draw, stalemate. So sacrifice the rook. Okay, well done. So maybe we can go to the next position. Yeah. Okay, so probably this time we still got into trouble for black because I see the white queen on the chessboard, and unfortunately black doesn't have a queen. Yeah, so again, black would be happy to stalemate here. So let's think of what ideas we have, so what actually we can do. So probably we don't have to move the king. Yeah, maybe again it could be a rook sacrifice.
We could try rook to b6.
Oh, so we sacrifice the rook, yeah? Okay, so what happens when the queen captures?
When the queen captures, the black king has no legal moves.
Yeah, so it can't get to this file because of the white rook. d4, c5, yeah, controlled by the queen, and the same as with c6 and d6. The queen controls these squares too. Yeah, okay. Uh, it's a stalemate. But you know, I have a question. So if in previous position white didn't have any choice, here white doesn't have to capture the rook. So what happens if I escape?
If you escape, then we could capture the queen.
Yeah, so and position looks equal. Yeah, I don't think that it makes any sense to play this position till the end. Yeah, so
Yeah.
because like just equal position, you can win if only your opponent blunders. So yeah, probably the best way is just to finish the game and shake hands. Yeah, so again, let's go back and repeat. So rook b6 is a nice move. We still want to sacrifice the rook and stalemate. Okay, very good. So the second puzzle. Maybe now we can go to the next one. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what do you think about this position, Tara? Is it better for white or for black?
First, we have to try and count the material.
Yeah,
So
of
here
course.
we see that white has an extra pawn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's outside past pawn, yeah, and probably it could be a problem for black to stop it. Yeah. And again, you see that the black queen doesn't have any like good checks, yeah, for the king, because after each check, we just lose the queen. But we don't give up, yeah, because we keep in our mind a stalemate idea. So for black, of course, draw would be a good result in this game. So let's think how we can save the position.
So here we could try queen to g4.
Nice. Okay, so the pawn can capture. So what happens if the pawn captures?
Then it's a stalemate because the black king has no legal moves and the pawn on g6 can't move because it's pinned.
Yeah, really. So the pawn is pinned. By the way, it's not just a pin. I would say it's an absolute pin. Yeah, it's pinned with a king. So, and the king doesn't have any moves. Yeah, the white pawn controls h5. So yeah, it's a stalemate. Nice. But I have a choice. So I don't have to capture the queen. What if I escape to f1? So should the queen follow making checks for the king, or black has something better that helps to finish the game?
We could capture the pawn.
Which one? On f3?
We could capture the pawn on h4.
Yeah, so of course we don't take the pawn on f3 because then we just lose the queen. So we capture the pawn on a4. Probably because of this pawn, white had some advantage, yeah? Of course, without the pawn, black doesn't have any chance to lose this position. So yeah, so that's why queen g4 is a nice move. Yeah, if the pawn captures, it's a stalemate. If the pawn doesn't capture, so we just get the pawn on a4 and position looks very comfortable for black. Okay, well done. So let's go to the next position. Oh, this one is tricky. Okay, so what do you think about this position? So who does have extra material?
So here white has a rook, but the black pawn is threatening to promote.
Yeah, the pawn is at the second rank, so it wants to promote and becomes a queen. Yeah, but I don't see the way how white can stop it. Yeah, so it's impossible. I mean, like, it's possible, but it doesn't make any sense to play rook c7 in this position. Yeah, because just the rook will be captured. So for the first look, white has an extra material, the rook for the pawn. Yeah, but the problem is that the pawn gonna promote, and we can't stop this pawn. So again, I think that white has to find a way to stalemate in this position. So what should we start with? What ideas do you have, Tara?
I think we could try rook to b7.
Okay, rook to b7. Yeah, so of course we have to think about all candidate moves for our opponent. Okay, so what if I move the king to a8? Is it good or it's not?
It's not good because then you could go rook to c7.
Yeah,
You're
and now we don't think about a draw anymore. Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
because then you
So
could just take.
So we stop the pawn easily. Okay, so king a8 would be a huge mistake. Yeah, so that's why king goes to c8. And we still can't play rook c7 because then we lose the rook and we can't talk about stalemate anymore. So in this position, we have to find the way how we can stalemate. So what should we start with, to move the king or to move the rook? So let's think what we can do.
I think we could try moving the rook to b6.
Okay, so let's play rook b6. The plan is simple. Yeah, we want to play rook c6, check, double attack, and get the pawn. Of course, black gonna promote. Okay. And in this position, if we try rook c6, yeah, what happens? We sacrifice the rook, but unfortunately, it's not a stalemate. It's check for the king, yeah? So rook b6 was the first candidate move, yeah? So let's try something else.
I think we could try rook to b5.
Rook to b5. Okay, so of course in this position, again, black has to promote. Yeah, if black doesn't, so we just make a double attack and stop the pawn. Okay, so I promote a queen. And what happens now? How should we play?
Rook to c5.
Yeah, so we move the rook to c5. Okay, the queen captures and have a look at the chessboard. It's a stalemate, yeah? So the queen controls all the squares where the king could be like could move, yeah? And we
Also,
can't get to b7.
so it was important where we moved the rook. Because
Of
if we
course.
moved it to b6, then it wouldn't be a stalemate. But if we moved it to b5, then it would be a stalemate.
Yeah, so you see it means that calculations are very important. So in this position, you have already to find a plan. Yeah, so the king is at the side of the chessboard. You have to understand like where it can move. So you see the four squares, and you have to find the right place for the queen of your opponent. Yeah, so you see that, okay, if the queen gonna stay on c3, it doesn't control all the squares. Yeah, if it stays on c4, it will be check. If the queen gonna get to c6, it's check again. So that's why c5. Yeah, because after this, all these squares are controlled by the queen. Yeah, and b7
And
is
if
controlled by the king.
the queen doesn't take and the king moves, you just take the queen.
Of course, which is not good
Yes.
for black, yeah, because like even if you want to win, it's better to make a draw than to lose the game, because this position is absolutely winning for white. Yeah, so I think this puzzle is very nice, so let's repeat it one more time. So rook b7, yeah, king c8. I hope that you remember. Why don't we move the king to a8? Rook b5 is a nice plan. Yeah, promote to a queen, and rook goes to c5. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this puzzle, so it's really nice. So let's go to the next one. Yeah, so the last puzzle and the most interesting probably. Okay, let's think again about like, let's evaluate position. Yeah, so what do you think? Who has better chances, white or black?
I think black has better chances, but white has a chance to make a stalemate.
Mhm.
At the first thought, you think there's too many pieces to make a stalemate, but what white can try here is to try to sacrifice all of their pieces, and then it could be a stalemate.
Yeah, so I think you're absolutely right, Tara. So yeah, so we have to sacrifice probably four pieces, yeah, for making a stalemate. So nice way to save the position. Yeah, and of course black has a queen. White has two passed pawns, yeah, but unfortunately these pawns, like you can't save them. You can try to promote, but of course the black king gonna capture your queen. Okay, so maybe we have to start with check. So Tara, what ideas do you have?
I think that we could move the pawn to a7.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I can't capture it because of the knight. At the same time, I can't take the knight because it's protected by the pawn on b7. So my only move is king takes b7. Okay, what's the next
Now we want
step?
to try to lose our other pieces. So we want to move the pawn to a8.
Uh-huh, okay. So again, I don't have any choice. I have to capture the queen. So king
Yeah.
takes. Oh, I know, I have a plan. I want to pin the queen with the king. I play bishop to f3. Yeah? Of course, if black doesn't capture me, I will get a winning endgame. So the queen captures. And now I play knight b6. So it's a check, and of course black captures, and it's a stalemate, right? So does it
Yeah,
work?
it works.
Uh-huh, okay, but I have a question, so a tricky question. Is it important, like, is it so
Actually, you don't have to capture the knight.
So this is a problem, yeah? If we change the moves a little, of course, black not gonna capture the knight. After king b7, we can just resign. So that's why, of course, bishop f3 in this position, it's a mistake. So how should we play first?
So bishop to f3, we said that would be a mistake. So we want to try to find a way to lose our knight. We want to try to find a way to lose our knight, but it's important where we put the knight because we have to put the knight to a place with check. Because
Mm-hmm.
if we don't put the knight to a place with check, then they could give a check to you.
Mm-hmm. And also, I think that it shouldn't be just a check. Yeah, also it should be a fork probably. So that's why it's important to play knight b6 in this position. Because if black ignores this move, I mean like if black doesn't capture, then of course we get a winning endgame. So that's why in this position, black doesn't have any choice. Yeah, so black has to capture the knight. And what happens now?
So now's the time that we move our bishop to f3.
Mm-hmm. And again, you see if black doesn't capture, now we have a winning endgame. Yeah,
Yeah.
so and when the queen captures the bishop, uh-oh, it's a stalemate, right? So the queen controls these 4 squares, yeah, and we can't get to g5 because of the pawn. So
And the white pawns have no place to move to.
yeah, of course it's important, so it's impossible to move the pawns. So yeah, I think very nice position. Let's repeat it one more time. So we start with check. We make a new check, yeah, captures. And then it's time for a fork, yeah, and only after this we sacrifice the bishop. We make a pin on f3. So the queen captures and stalemate. So it was
Yeah.
probably the most difficult puzzle for today, but I think very nice.
From these puzzles, what we can learn is that you want to try to look for stalemate ideas and lost positions because they could help you. And it also shows that you should try to fight on in chess games because here the first thought is that black has a queen and you think it's a lost position, but then at the second thought you see that there's stalemate ideas and then you're happy to get a draw.
Yeah. So one more thing that chess teaches us, yes, so never give up. So,
Yeah.
okay.
So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video to others. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Bye.